I was a little boy, there was a lot of love. Love between brothers and sisters, neighbors and friends. There was so much love until I thought that love would never end. But today, as I look around me, I see so much hatred and killing everywhere. So if you got someone that loves you, I'll tell you today, you better love them back. Where did all the love go? Somebody tell me, where did it go?
My name's Frank. Like that, you need to round the five all the time. Ball, five balls. Where you find it like this? You love it? You look nice. All right, thank you very much, brother. We get on and really should be a cop here. Thank you very much, brother. What's your name?
My name's Frank.
Frank?
Frank Todd, yeah.
Todd. All right, get down there.
I sit here all the time.
Okay. All right, peace.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you gonna put it on the paper?
Yes, sir. I got yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
All right, yeah. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I'm standing in the city of Valdosta, Martin Luther King Corridor Project. And all I want to say here today is that I want to talk about my childhood. My grandmother, who only had about a third grade education, my grandmother told me in so many words that there is in South Georgia, she's deceased by the way, but she told us that in her own way that there's a mouse trap in the house. If you all are not familiar with Reverend Lloyd Rose and what he said about the mouse trap first here in Valdosta, but that concept goes far beyond Reverend Rose or anything that he could ever say along those lines. If you back up into history, my grandmother taught us about a mouse trap. She said to us, because of this mouse trap, the black man and woman and their children must be twice as good as members of the white race. Yet she never taught us to hate. She always told us to fear God and walk circumspectly before our God. But she always told us there's a mouse trap in the house. And so she taught us what we needed to know. She told us that because of this mouse trap, if a white woman is walking with you on the right side of the sidewalk, you go to the left. She told us, be careful what you say in the dark. For a family member among your own people will take it to others, they will do you in, because there's a mouse trap in the house. She said that when you sharecrop, which was a way of life back over in Brooks County, just 18 miles west of Valdosta, if you sharecrop with the white man and at the end of the year, if he's not fair when it comes down to dividing the money equally according to the promise that was made, she said, always remember that there's a mouse trap in the house, so be on guard for that. In fact, she said it's better for you to go out and buy your own land start your own farm, get your own wife. Told my sister to get your own husband, for a piece of husband or a piece of wife of your own is better than 10 that belong to somebody else. She said, in this wicked and unjust world, never forget that there's a mouse trap in the house. She taught us that it's not by size that you win or you fail. She said, but be the best of whatever you are. And she said, no matter how high you go in life, you got to come down to the common level to get a drink of water. And when you come to get that water, never forget that there's still a mouse trap in the house. And so, my grandmother loved us so much. She taught us boys how to survive. She told us about blacks that were killed, murdered outright over in Brooks County. Nothing was ever done about it. She told us about how the police officers would pull you over. You didn't have to be guilty. But whatever they said would stand in the courtroom over what you said. And so we learned in the Black African American community over in Brooks County, we learned early how to deal with that mouse trap that's in the house. But when we look deeper into the mouse trap, there are so many black African Americans who don't know nothing about that mouse trap. If they saw the mouse trap, they wouldn't even recognize the trap, let alone the person who set the trap, who put the peanut butter or the cheese in the trap. There are some blacks who could see the trap, recognize the trap, contribute to the cheese to go in the trap, open the jar from which the peanut butter came from. And they'll see my brothers and sisters being trapped in the trap, but they won't say nothing because of fear and their own desires to get the crumbs that fall from the former slave master's table. There are those who have benefited from those victims that were caught in the mouse trap. But they won't help any other people to get where they are. They'll act as if though they pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, as they would say. What they don't know is that if some black or white civil rights leader had not helped them, they wouldn't be on the top. They wouldn't be driving a Lexus or a BMW. They wouldn't be in a gated community. They wouldn't be in the cliques and among the slicks. Somebody had to help them. But they don't understand the mouse trap. You see, there are several types of mouse traps. There's the physical mouse trap. And there's a dozen other types of mouse traps. And too often, we become victims of the mouse trap, while our own people contribute to. I was stationed here in Valdosta in 1975 at Moody Air Force Base. And when I got here, I remember being pulled over on Highway 84 West, going towards Quitman, Georgia. And it didn't take me too long to understand that there was a mouse trap in the house of Brooks County. A state patrol by the name of Trooper Duncan lied on me, and I never will forget that. He said I was speeding when I was not. He said I was going 76 miles an hour in a 55 miles an hour zone. I had Randy and Tony McMillan in the car with me at the time. I was not speeding. I was talking on my CB radio and asked the drivers to break it down because there was a smoky in the grass. A smoky in the grass. I had a 66 Chevrolet Super Sport, red, white, and blue automobile. And after he lied on me, I took him to court and pleaded my own case. I'm not going to get into that because that's not the point I want to make. So I found out that there was a mouse trap in the house. You heard a speed trap, but I'm talking about the mouse trap. We later found out that James Demps had been shot and killed behind the Washington Funeral Home over in the city of Quitman by a police officer, and nothing happened. For the most part, you can call it a cover-up, you can call it the good old boy system, or you can call it there's a mouse trap in the house. Many of you all know Earl Evans, nicknamed Heber. Was dating a white woman, shot twice, put it in the police car, burned to a crisp. Confirmed what my grandma said, that there's a rat trap or mouse trap in the house. Ed Denson drowned along with the Wootons in a pond. They say he too was dating a white woman. No justice was received. So I learned again that my grandmother's words were correct. There's a mouse trap in the house. I talked to Pastor Barnes, who told me about some old blacks murdered in the woods southwest of Quitman. Nothing was done about it. There is a mouse trap in the house. Then I remember some of the older people like Jack Brinson tell me about other black women that were raped by white men. Some of them women were just taken out, produced children by white men against their will. Nowadays they call it rape. Back then they called it, I guess, just another rat trap in the house of the black community. And when we look out across the field, some of us won't say anything. I work with the NAACP on many cases over in Brooks County with Theodore Small. I remember we called C.B. King Daddy in from Albany to take on a couple cases. He fought to try to get rid of that mouse trap that was in our homes in the black community. But many blacks did not see that mouse trap They didn't care about the victim who got caught up. They said, that don't bother me. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. What happened to your child don't bother me because I'm a Baptist. What happened to your mama and your dad and your sisters and your auntie don't bother me because I'm a Church of Christ. That don't bother me because I'm a Muslim. Or that don't bother me because I'm a Christian, or I'm a Catholic, or I'm a Buddhist, and you're a monk. So they just ignore the mouse trap in the black community. Many of the deacons said, God didn't call me to do that, to fight against those who put the mouse trap in our communities. That job is reserved for some civil rights organization, or some civil rights leader, or somebody that looks like Reverend Rose, or somebody that looks like me, or somebody that looks like the man behind the curtain that everybody despises and call him crazy. Yet, members in our community can say they want to go to heaven, and they're working to go to heaven. They stay in church, they stay in mosque, they stay in synagogue, and they ignore or pretend that the mouse trap is not even in the house. And when they hear the mouse trap snap, they check themselves and say, is it me? Is it my mother? Is it my father? Is it my sister? Is it my brother? Is it my neighbor? Is it my friend? Or is it the man that employed me? And once they find out that they didn't get caught in the mouse trap, they say, everything is okay. Don't worry about the snap. It didn't snap on me and those that can impact my livelihood. But I'm here to tell you, there's a mouse trap in the house. And so time moves on. So I remember in September, skipping right along, and I got to go back and get this just to fill it in. In May of 1918, there was a mouse trap in the house, and 15 to 25 blacks was murdered outright. And we had a judicial system then. We had a county sheriff then. We had a governor then. We had a General Assembly then. We had a G.B.R. then. We had a Southern Judiciary then. But do you not know, when all those blacks was murdered, baby was cut from Mary Turner's womb in the 8th month of pregnancy. White mob member took the heel of his boot and crushed the head of that black baby. And do you not know, because there's a mouse trap that was in Brooks County, nobody was brought up on charges. Nobody. My grandmother was right again. There's a mouse trap in the house. There's a mouse trap in the house. And now we'll look back down the annals of history, and we'll find ourselves asking the question, will members of law enforcement do these unlawful acts? Will the G.B.R. deny citizens or work against Citizens Voting Rights Act? We ask the question, will our elected officials work against us in our upward mobility for equal justice under the law? And some of us cannot even comprehend that there is still a mouse trap in the house. A mouse trap is still in the house. And so In 2013, we want to ask a question. Why have not the black man, his woman, and his children reached the final analysis that we got to remove the mousetrap from the house? There was a time when we used to rely on the leaders in the religious community to unhook the snapper on the mousetrap. There was a time when we used to use the most educated people among us to unhook or unsnap or disarm the mousetrap. We used to use our retired educators, since they didn't have nothing to lose, to help us unarm the mousetrap. But today, something is happening in our world. People seem not to care about the loss of the black man, the loss of the black woman, the loss of the black child in coming generations. And so we ignore the mousetrap. Even in the jails and prisons. Coming up next, the jails, the prisons, and death row, and how they do or fail to deal with the mousetrap. The black mouse within our community that get trapped in the mousetrap. Next, I want to talk to you about the mousetrap that often we overlook. In 1998, Willie James Williams died from a fall on Lee Street. And Kevin Farmer was the Lowndes County Sheriff Deputy that took him into custody. A few hours later, dead while in police custody. I talked to one of his daughters a few minutes ago at the South Georgia Regional Library in the computer room. And as I was working on the computer, she stopped and gave me a big hug. She said to me, "George, we never got justice in my father's death." Well, 2,500 people marched on the Lowndes County Jail. No justice was received. Willie James Williams became the victim of another black man caught in the mousetrap here in South Georgia. So let's leave that alone now. There have been 31 jail deaths in the Valdosta Lowndes County Jail from 1994 to 2009, and from 2009 to 2013. Governor Nathan Deal hasn't said anything. The Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson, the Middle District Judge in the Middle District of Georgia, haven't said anything. Although Judge Hugh Lawson ruled and found 105 violations from Civil Action number 89-54-Val, lead plaintiff Dorothea Patterson, on behalf of all inmates, had the courage to tell the government that there was a mousetrap in the house. And after Judge Hugh Lawson saw that mousetrap as clearly as any human being could see it, He gave his ruling in 1997, June to be exact. Yet, when the President of the People's Tribunal wrote him, when I wrote to that honorable judge, he gave no answer in regards to who followed up to make sure that his court order and consent decree was ever corrected. He knew that there was a mousetrap in the House because he identified the mousetrap and what was catching black folk and what was denying them of their constitutional rights. But he never followed up on his own court order. Again, at that time, only 3 people had died in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail that we had record on. It could have been more. And today, we don't know how many people have perished for whatever reason. Haven't finished yet. We also wrote to David Miller, the non-district attorney, to Sarah Crow, the clerk of the court, and former inmates have written to local newspapers and television stations to tell their story, trying to highlight and let the world know that there's a mouse trap in the Lowndes County Jail. And on the streets here in Valdosta, Lowndes County in the state of Georgia. But nobody seems to care. But I'm here to tell you today that there is a mouse trap in the house. And so the black man and woman and their children, we fill the jails, the prisons, death row, and probation row. And yet, people ignore that there is a calculated mouse trap in the black community. They want us. They want us. They want us to understand that we are still caught up under the Dred Scott rule of 1857. And what is that ruling? That a black man have no rights that a white man has to respect. That is a part of the mousetrap process. I haven't finished yet. Just a few months ago, to bring it home to you, Kenneth Johnson and Jacqueline, their son was found dead in the Lowndes County High School gymnasium. And some believe that it was an accident. Some believe it was a murder. Some just don't know, and they will acknowledge that they don't know. But I want to say to you that there still seems to be a mouse trap in the house. And so regardless of what happens in the case of KJ, I want all black and white people to understand. Yes, the mouse trap is still in our community, taking the lives of our men, women, and children. But there are some of us that are more concerned about lining our pocketbooks than we are about caring for the life of another human being. And so I'm going to continue to say that we must commend the parents of Kendrick Johnson for staying the course. Stay tuned. And now, I want to bring it closer to home. On May the 24th, 2013, there was a mouse trap at Pine Grove Middle School. A 14-year-old black girl was tackled by a Lowndes County Sheriff Deputy Atkins, charged with striking a teacher, and a fight that took place, that she was not at fault. She was the defendant and not the aggressor. It was later found out that the 14-year-old never hit the teacher, and that the teachers gave statements, certified statements. Yet in juvenile court, they changed their testimony according to the mother and father. The mother says that she has received no justice. The father say they have received no justice. And so I will say that there is a mousetrap in the house. And the sad thing about it, no newspaper, no television station or radio station would even report the story to the general public. The police officer, or rather the sheriff deputy, weighed at least 200 pounds plus. I doubt that that girl weighed 100 pounds. So we can see that there's still a mousetrap in the house. Moreover, it is indeed time for us to wake up to the realities of now. On May 25th, the next day, I myself, a retired military veteran of 21 years in the United States Armed Forces, was stopped by Lowndes County Sheriff Deputy Thomas and told I had been under a criminal trespass warning for 2 weeks without any justification or notification. The local courts and judges didn't know nothing about it. So I've been restricted for 181 days from all Lowndes County High School properties. Can't even go to a Lowndes County football game where my children graduated from. All because, possibly, of the death of Kendrick Johnson. Just maybe somebody was going to talk to me about that case. And they knew that I would tell the truth. Be that as it may. So when you see the protests and the rallies, ask yourself a question. Where are the black leaders in our community standing up for those who have been victims of the mousetrap? And I'm talking about those that we know about. I'm not talking about those that we don't know about. There's something strange in our world. There's something very strange in our world. And so, it seems as if though people don't care too much about the mousetrap, as I said earlier, until it snaps on them. But thank God for people like Kendrick, Jacqueline, and Eddie Tooley. There are family members who are standing strong not only for their child, but for other children here in South Georgia and North Florida. Wait a minute, I haven't finished. I want to talk to you on another level. Then I'm going to fit it in between about the story, the complete story, as only Reverend Rose can tell about the mousetrap. Will you wait, black or white, Jew or German, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu or other? Will you wait until you become a victim, till your child end up laying with their neck in the mousetrap, their life has been cut off, before you wake up and acknowledge that there is a mousetrap in the house? You say it don't affect you. Let me allow in this illustration from senior servant, Floyd Rose, to tell you about. You don't see that you are caught up in the environment of the mousetrap. Let him tell you about the story of the mousetrap, as you will soon see that it is what it is, and you are not safe where you stand in your fictitious safety zone because of our religion.
I see angels coming down the street. Heaven can't be too far from here. I see angels everywhere.
God made mothers to be angels. You just might be looking at an angel right now. If you're in Los Angeles, California, Nashville, Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Chicago,